I want to go to Congressman, former Navy SEAL Derrick Van Orden, who represents Southwest Wisconsin. Congressman, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. Thank you, man. How are you?
Good to talk to you. So you are with the future vice president. What are you guys up to today?
Well, JD is in La Crosse, which is the second largest city in my district, a beautiful place right on the Mississippi River. And we're going to talk about gas, groceries, and grandkids, freedom, prosperity, and security. That's what this election's about, dude. I mean, it's just
okay. Hold on. I like this. I've never heard the 3 Gs, and I'm a fan of alliteration.
Oh, there's
so
a mine,
gas, groceries,
and
grandkids.
So people are having difficulty filling up a gas tank and a grocery cart on the same day, and we are deeply concerned about the future for our children and grandchildren. And it just wasn't like this 4 years ago. It simply wasn't. And so when we focus on what is really important for Americans, it's taking care of their families. It's being able to go to sleep at night, not worrying if a Tren de Aragua gang member is going to break into their house, which happened here in Prairie du Chien. Actually, it's an hour south of here, my hometown. President Trump came here because a violent, criminal, illegal alien was let into the country by the Biden-Harris administration, was freed in Minneapolis, and he was arrested up there, and because they're a sanctuary city, Dane County, Madison, the capital here. The only difference between Madison, Wisconsin, and Beijing, China, is they speak Chinese in Beijing. And so they had warrants out for this guy, and they didn't act on him because they're a sanctuary city. Then he came a couple hours west to my hometown and brutally raped a mom and assaulted the daughter over a period of days. We don't want that anymore. We want to be able to have our children play in our front yards. And Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin has less than 6,000 people in it. So Americans are sick and tired. We're going to have a very good night tomorrow. President Trump is going to win. Eric Hovde here is going to get Tammy Baldwin out of office. She's been in office for 25, 26 years. And I'm going to get reelected. And we're going to get an America First agenda going, which means every single American. I'm sick and tired of the Democrats blowing all these dog whistles saying that, you know, we're homophobic and xenophobic and thisophobic and thatophobic. We're not. We want peace and prosperity for every single American. We want every American to rise to the height that their God-given talents and their drive allow them to, period.
I'm sorry, I'm still a little back on the Tren de Aragua.
Oh my gosh, you didn't hear about
it? Yeah, that too. No, I'm past the alliteration. The alliteration is good. I've set that one to memory. The Venezuelan prison gang member. I can't imagine someone in Prairie du Chien voting for more open borders after that happened in their own town. How can that be?
No. Well, I mean, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance going on. I mean, the media, the legacy media, has been saying that Donald Trump is, you know, a literal fascist and all this stuff for over a decade now, and propaganda works. So in the print media, the television, you know, in the movies, Hollywood stars, everybody's saying the most vile things about President Trump for over a decade. What does a 57-year-old loser from Hawaii and a 20-year-old kid from Pennsylvania have in common? Well, they got a couple things in common. They both tried to kill President Trump, and the other thing they have in common is they've been inundated and bombarded for over a decade, or for about a decade, saying that President Trump is literally Hitler. So this stuff has got to stop, yes. And that's we're working for this. We just want people to tell the truth, man. That's all I'm asking. And speaking of that, I'm running. Oh, go ahead, sir.
No, please.
Oh, so I'm running against this young lady named Rebecca Cook. And she got cold busted the other day going around to Republican people's houses with Republican signs and asking to take pictures with them. And then she posted these, at least one that I'm aware of, she may have pulled the other ones down, of this guy saying, well, here you go, another Democrat for Cook. The funny thing is, that person's house she knocked on, he's a friend of mine. And so I called him, and I was just with him at the Lincoln Day dinner last month. And I'm like, hey, Dan, is there something that I did between the Lincoln Day dinner last month and, you know, today that made you want to vote for Cook? He's like, no, of course not. What are you talking about? And we sent him this picture. And he's like, what the heck? So he made a video explaining that Rebecca Cook's been lying about all this stuff, and that really strikes a chord. But now, granted, on top of this being intentionally deceitful about someone, misrepresenting someone you're trying to represent, her nickname, she's got a couple of them, Defund the Cops Cook. She was on the board for a dark money organization that backed Mandela Barnes, the greatest defund the cops candidate in the state of Wisconsin. She used taxpayers' dollars when she was on a commission here, a WEDC, out of Madison, Wisconsin, to give her own company money and then give taxpayers' dollars from her grant company to her friends, including one that started a restaurant here. And then one of the employees there, who was a founder of that place, the founder's folks, donated money to her political campaign. That's money laundering. So her other nickname is Rebecca Crook. And to have this race even be close, you got to say, why would that be? If you got somebody, and these are all, T's crossed, I's dotted federal forms with her signature on them, laying out the fact that she has been laundering money. And she's a defund the cops person. She owns a political consulting company right now and has for years, and she's running as a political outsider. The only reason that this race should be close or is close is because of the power of propaganda on the left. And they put $15 million into this race against me in southwestern Wisconsin.
Her Twitter page says small business and nonprofit leader, farmer's daughter, waitress.
Okay.
And she put up a picture 2 days ago. It says and it's her with trays. Last night I closed the restaurant. This morning I woke up to knock hundreds of doors across the district. We need more working class voices in Congress.
Yeah, I've been supporting myself financially since I was 16 years old. After I dropped out of high school, I joined the Navy at 18. I got a GED. I wound up serving in the military for 26 years. I retired as a Navy SEAL senior chief with multiple combat tours. I got an undergraduate degree at 44 years old. At night, as an active duty Navy SEAL, I got accepted to law school at 50 because I was turned 50. I finished my first year of law school, ran for Congress. I'm in Congress now. I owned a small business up in northern Wisconsin. Sarah Jane and I raised our 4 children on an enlisted person's salary. We know how to run a budget. The small business she's talking about is called Red Letter Grants. That's her nonprofit that she gave taxpayers money from the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation to. That's exactly what I was talking about. So tax dollars went from Wisconsin taxpayers' pocketbooks to the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, of which she was appointed to by Governor Evers, a radical leftist governor. She gave taxpayers' dollars to Red Letter Grants. That's her nonprofit. And then from that nonprofit, they doled out a bunch of grants, including to one called The Good Wise. That's the restaurant in Eau Claire, Wisconsin that she's referring to, that she works at right now, right? And then the mom of the founder, one of the founders, contributed money to Rebecca Cook's political campaign. That's money laundering. So that tied up her, and the doors that she's knocking, is she out taking pictures of more Republicans and saying that they're voting for her, lying about her constituents or the people that she wants to represent? You can't misrepresent the people you're trying to represent. So she's a fraud across the board. Rebecca Crook, Defund the Cops Cook, is a fraud across the board. And we cannot, this is everything, she's everything that people are sick about in Washington, D.C. Everything. It's with a bow.
Wisconsin, we're talking to Derrick Van Orden, who's the current congressman. Wisconsin's always super close. And your district, it says here, Al Gore won, John Kerry won, Barack Obama won, and then Trump won the last 2. Correct. What gives? What's that about?
We're free thinkers. I mean, I've noticed this, man. I never wanted to be in politics ever. And people in the 3rd Congressional District of the state of Wisconsin are free thinkers, and I truly appreciate that. I mean, it would be, I would say, more convenient if everybody was like Republican or Democrat, but politics shouldn't be about convenience. Politics should be about individual voters looking at individual issues, making informed decisions, and voting for who they think is going to represent them the best. And that's what happens here in the 3rd. And I think it's great, man. I mean, I respect the people that are here. Let me tell you about the demographics of this area. So about only 25%, it's really 26% of everybody that lives in the third has a 4-year college degree. 9% has a graduate degree. So what does that tell you? We are hard-working men and women. We're farmers. We're manufacturers. We work at Quick Trip, which is this fantastic, Midwestern 7-Eleven sort of thing. We're educators. We've got 6 universities here in the district. We work really, really hard. And if every single person that got up and went to work in this district voted, this district would be as red as a tomato. But the problem is this: we are working people. So if someone works third shift, man, and they get off work at 6 in the morning, wherever they're getting off, and they don't want to go stand in a line to vote for 5 hours. If you're chopping, it's part of harvesting. If you got good weather and a good moon, and now with all the incredible lighting systems on these machines, on this iron, you can be up all night chopping, and you don't want to go stand in line to vote. And so we historically don't vote at the level that Democrats do. And that's got to change, or nothing's going to change.
The whole theme of today's show has been stand in line and stay in line. And the first half an hour, I love the Pilgrims. So I invoked the memory of the Pilgrims and the heroic journey they took across the Atlantic to start this country. And if they can be that uncomfortable for 7 months, 2 across the ocean, 5 off the shore, where half of them all died in the winter on the boat, waiting just to get off the boat, we can stand in line for a little bit and not complain. But in that spirit, what is the most uncomfortable you've ever been as a Navy SEAL? I mean, physically uncomfortable.
Great question. Let's see. We were doing Over the Horizon in a Zodiac. That's like an open rubber boat in February in the Atlantic. And I had every single piece of the highest speed gear to stay warm that you could possibly imagine. And I couldn't even talk. I was so cold. And we had to link up with a submarine in the middle of nowhere. And remember, hey, let me throw this out there. This is pre-GPS. So I was the navigator. I had what was called a PBS plotting board. And so I'm doing time, speed, distance calculations exactly the same way the Pilgrims got here.
What?
So, yeah, dude, that's what we used to do. I remember when the first GPS came out, it was like magic. We didn't even trust it. So I would have my chart and my grease pencils and my popsicle sticks, and we would check the GPS until it makes sense. When you have a new piece of technology, you test the technology yourself so you have confidence in the technology, and then you use it to the greatest of your ability. So that was really cool.
How long were you on that? I would imagine. How long were you on that boat for?
The Zodiac?
Yeah, like in that particular moment.
Let's see. It was an entire cycle of darkness. We started during the day, and so I don't know, 10 hours maybe, something like that.
Okay, all right. So here's the deal. All right, if Congressman Derrick Van Orden can shiver in the freezing cold with his fellow Navy SEALs for 10 hours in the middle of the ocean looking for a submarine, I can stand in line, maybe even bring my own comfy chair in a nice day tomorrow, right? Is it going to be nice in Wisconsin tomorrow?
It's cloudy and rainy today. And I don't know. You know what? It could be.
No, you're right. No, it will be cloudy and rainy. Sorry. Yeah. 65 and a little rainy. Whatever. We can stand in line for a little bit and vote to save this country.